Welcome everybody, it's Salem, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a character that I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time, and he is none other than Eddie. So if you guys don't know, Eddie is actually one of the children inside the house, and there's been a really big question about him, like how did he even get in the house in the first place? And that is what I'm going to be answering for you guys inside this video. But before we can go straight to that answer, we have to actually understand what the children are and how do they even get in the house in the first place. So first things first, in Origins is where we first saw the children. We only saw two of the children, only Eddie and Samantha is another mystery in how she even got there. That's even the bigger one. But the thing to note from this is that there were only two children in the house at the time, but again we didn't know at the time what that all meant. Then in the Rise of Drake we actually learned that we were collecting the souls of our 1.0 characters, but not knowing why. And in Zetsubo no Shima, really nothing, we didn't get anything else. But in Garage Trophy we actually saw ourselves collect the third soul of the game, which we'll talk about that in a second, why there's only been 3 so far, and we actually see Richtofen send up 3 souls. Then in Revelations we actually saw that inside the intro cutscene that all the children were in the house, and the souls have now supposedly become children, what it seems like at least. But there's a problem right here. How did Eddie get in the house? Because we didn't see Richtofen's soul go up in Garage Trophy's Easter egg. So I want to actually talk about a couple theories that existed at the time of Garage Trophy, and one was that maybe Richtofen collected his soul in the giant, and then sometime before Garage Trophy sent his soul up to Maxis, which doesn't make that much sense because why would he do that? It's like, is there some specific reason? And they didn't even hint at all. We never, inside the intro cutscene to the giant, we never actually saw all the animations and the sparky lights from the summoning key when it's collecting a soul inside, like inside all the other intro or outro cutscenes. So, and on top of that, we actually heard Dempsey say, "What did you hold to your body?" But then again, you wouldn't hold the summoning key to your body, so it doesn't make any sense for that to be the case. But then there was this other theory, and it was actually saying that Richtofen didn't send up his soul because the soul we needed, because you have to remember there's this cipher inside Zetsubo no Shima saying that we have to collect the Pacific soul from that Pacific 1.0 version at the Pacific universe at a specific point in time. Everything had to be very specific. So what people were saying is that it was actually the Origins Richtofen that we needed to collect their soul. So this was a really cool theory and everything, but there was a little problem with it. It's that if this is all true, then if we think back to the Origins cutscene, you have to remember Samantha and Eddie were in the house by themselves before the other 3 even arrived. So Eddie was in the house before the events of Garage Trophy's outro cutscene. And so this would imply that we would have to get Richtofen's soul in the next map inside Revelations, which obviously wasn't the case. So that was a problem with it, is that his soul wouldn't be in the house before the other 3 and it would be in there after. So it didn't make any sense, but I'm going to actually revive this theory inside this video and be explaining to you guys why it actually works, just with a couple changes. So I actually want to play you this quote that we actually got from Dr.Monty that I actually found inside Revelations. I'm not too sure if anybody else has found it yet, but it's this quote inside Revelations. I got it when I was playing the Easter egg or completing the Easter egg, but I want to play it for you guys, and of course we'll come right back and talk about it.
You know, Richtofen's doing pretty well without a soul. I think the one he had was evil. The same is probably true of Max's. Better off without. They can spend their days pondering whether or not they have one for all eternity. Oh well, it's a good way to pass the time.
As you guys heard in the quote, there's something really weird going on. And as you guys heard, Monty actually said that Richtofen does not have a soul. And I was thinking, wait, what? And then I thought, wait, why wouldn't he have a soul? So you have to remember that the only way to lose your soul, and this is kind of obvious, but the only way you lose your soul is by dying. But what we also know is that bodies can live on without a soul, and we know this from Dr. Maxis because he's actually living without a soul right now. And he's a perfect example just to show that a body can actually live on without a soul. That's how Richtofen is living on without a soul right now. But what does Richtofen not having a soul, how does that relate to Eddie? At first face value, it doesn't seem like much, but what I'm saying is that actually Richtofen's soul was actually used to make Eddie. If that sounds weird, but I guess that's what they did. They used his soul to make Eddie. So sometime between Origins and the Giant, Richtofen must have died, and it was probably on purpose, and that Maxis probably was there somewhere, and he actually collected Richtofen's soul and used it to make Eddie. So if that was true, then it would make perfect sense how Eddie was in the house before all the other characters. But it's still, of course, like I said, Samantha is a whole other question. I have no idea how she would have got in the house in the first place, but Eddie, this would finally answer the question of how Eddie got in the house. But one question remains: if all of this is all true, if everything I said was true, that Origins Richtofen's soul was actually used to make Eddie, then there's a problem, because remember what I said is that you have to die to get your soul out of you. So Richtofen's dead, right? But how would he come back to life? It makes sense how Maxis is alive again, because he died and then Richtofen got his brain, and then somehow we're assuming Monty made his body again or something like that. But who did this with Richtofen? Was Richtofen, did the same process happen to Richtofen, or what exactly happened there? But that's about it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this video and you actually learned something new, go ahead and thumbs up. If I did make any mistakes, also leave those down in the comments. But I'm going to go, and I will catch you guys on my next video.